We now know who President Trump wants for two of the roles the tech industry cares about the most. Trump has selected former SEC Commissioner Paul Atkins, who is seen as a strong advocate for looser regulation of crypto assets, to succeed Gary Gensler as SEC chair, and Gail Slater, an economic policy advisor to JD Vance and tech policy advisor during Trump's first term, has been proposed as head of the DOJ's Antitrust unit. Quoting the Times, Mr. Atkins, 66, who was an SEC commissioner under President George W. Bush, is a well-known and generally admired figure in Washington legal circles and the securities regulatory community. In the early 1990s, he worked at the SEC during both Republican and Democratic administrations. He is also seen as a strong advocate for looser regulation of crypto assets, an issue that Mr. Trump adopted as part of his campaign. Shortly after his term as SEC commissioner ended in 2008, Mr. Atkins founded Potomac Global Partners, a financial services consulting firm. Potomac provides advisory services to banks and investment firms on regulatory and compliance matters. More recently, the firm has advised clients on issues related to crypto and digital assets. Mr. Atkins, a lawyer, has been playing an active role in helping to draft best practices for crypto trading platforms as co-chair of the Token Alliance, which is part of the Digital Chamber of Commerce. He is also on the advisory board for Scrutinize, a digital asset firm that promotes the use of digital tokens. His nomination will need Senate confirmation, end quote. And quoting Bloomberg, Slater is seen as a pro-enforcement populist Republican, particularly when it comes to the tech sector, and her nomination signals a new Trump administration is unlikely to fully back down from the aggressive stance of Joe Biden's administration. Her boss, JD Vance, who has also represented Ohio in the Senate since 2023, has expressed his support for much of the agenda of outgoing FTC chair Lina Khan. Trump hasn't yet named Khan's replacement at the FTC, which enforces both antitrust and consumer protection laws. Slater would replace Biden's Assistant Attorney General for Antitrust, Jonathan Cantor, who has held the post since 2021 and brought a record number of monopolization cases against companies including Google, Apple, Visa, and others. At the Justice Department, Slater will need to tackle a handful of pending mergers, including Capital One Financial's proposed acquisition of Discover Financial Services, as well as a half dozen monopolization lawsuits against some of the largest U.S. companies. The agency has two ongoing cases against Google and is heading back to trial in April on what changes the tech giant must make to its business after being found to have illegally monopolized the online search market. Slater will also be responsible for deciding whether to move forward or settle recent cases filed against Live Nation Entertainment's Ticketmaster, Visa, and Apple. Slater has focused on issues facing big tech companies before. Following her FTC stint, Slater joined the Internet Association, a now defunct trade group for internet companies, whose members included Amazon and Google. She moved to the White House during the first Trump administration as a special assistant to the president for economic policy with a broad portfolio that included technology, telecom, and cyber issues, end quote.